Hello, I'd like to welcome everybody to um, my segment of The Understanding. So, today I'll be going live and I want to talk to you guys about um, partnership versus opponentship. I know it's a word that I made up. Um, made up. It was just during a conversation that I had with someone. Um, Sometimes I get a lot of my information through conversations that I have with people. So, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were having a discussion about, about relationships and things of that nature. And first of all, I guess let me say, welcome to the Understanding. That's the name of my show. My name is Quentin Patterson, and I just want to bring some of my thoughts to the airwaves and kind of get some of my information that I have through the years of me being on the planet. Um, this will be like the third show I've done. This today I don't have a guest, so I said I'm gonna do this show and I'm gonna just start being more consistent with it. And I took a little hiatus from it for a little bit. A little few things happened to kind of deter me a little bit from it, but I just wanted to get back into it to have more of a discussion from some of the discussions that I have in my personal life when it comes to the topic of relationships. I see a lot of the information that's on the internet and things like that, and that's cool. But I have my own opinion, and I just want to let everybody know this is just my opinion. Just it's not factual. I don't sit there and use the word fact on everything. It's just my opinion and what I've seen and what I've experienced. So when I want to talk about partnership versus opponentship, what I mean by that, opponentship, meaning when you're in a relationship, most people they want to have a relationship where the two of you are together and well, first let me say this: in a partnership, once you start a relationship, you have to have a plan. That's one thing that I've noticed, and some of the people that I've talked to, a lot of people they don't really necessarily sit down with their partner and they have a clear cut plan of what they're wanting to do and where they're wanting the relationship to go, and whether it's financially, whether it's kids, where they want to live at, and things like that. If they want to have a business, if they want to continue with their job, or do both, or someone has a job and the other person's working in their business. Whatever the case may be, you have to sit down and have a clear cut plan. How's the saying go? If you don't plan, you plan to fail. This goes within any relationship. I like to talk about all types of relationships. It's not just romantic relationships. It can be business wise. It can be friends wise. It can be with family members. It could be with your own children. These things are important, or I should say that the most important thing is the relationship that you have with yourself. For those who believe, also with God. But I'll leave the God part out of it, and I'll just talk about what I want to talk about as far as partnership and opponentship. And when I say opponentship, it's someone that you're with that you're in opposition with whatever the plan is. Or if you don't have a plan and somebody that's just, you know, you're trying to do well in life, and what they're doing is being in opposition of where you want to go, kind of being argumentative, triggering you in some sort of fashion or whatever, and just making it all about themselves and don't understand that it has to be a collective. Because I'm a strong believer in being having a collective effort. There's no one person that's above the other one, and I understand some of my fellas. They say want somebody that's going to submit to them. That's fine. It's not me personally. I don't necessarily need somebody to submit to me. I'm throwing my own personal thing, and I don't need someone to submit to me in the fashion of what's being talked about out here in the streets. I just need somebody that's going to be my partner. Now, partner doesn't necessarily mean that we're business partners per se. Like we're on this, like there's a certain level, and we have to be on that same plane. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Whatever your plan is for your relationship, that's going to define um, how you want the relationship to go. That's still a partnership. Whether you find somebody that's going to submit to you, for some of the fellows who that's important to them, um, however it is, it's still some sort of a partnership that's taking place. Now, now let me get back to the opposition. You don't want someone that's going to be opposing everything you do. um, Say like if you did well with your business, or somebody's in school, you have good grades, and somebody just you sitting in the corner, you can tell that they're not really for you. They're not on your team. They're wanting to kind of gaslight everything that you're doing. um, they feel a hint of jealousy, they're not getting attention, or something to that effect. Anything that's going to be negative towards your positive growth that you're trying to, or things you're trying to accomplish. Um, that's an opponentship that you're in. And most people don't realize that that's what they're in. Um, I won't say any names. I'll protect the innocent, so to speak. But I've had conversations with people that had these things come about, and it's an ugly situation, you know, that I hear. It's like you don't want to be in a relationship that somebody's going to be throwing negative shade at you constantly, over and over and over. At some point, it will weigh on you. It will make the relationship not any fun. You don't want to see the person. You don't want to talk to the person, and ultimately what's going to happen is, if the relationships break down and you don't necessarily want to be with them, it's not going to bother you, because you feel like, hey, I got rid of that person. That person, she or he or she was in opposition to me anyway, and I was always arguing with her. We didn't have the chemistry. Whatever the case may be, you're going to have these things playing over in your head. So why not have a clear cut plan of what you want to do before those things arise? um, just in my personal, I've had bouts with talking to different people and things like that. No, I'm not an argumentative person. I'll listen to what someone's saying. But the thing that I find is, some of the women that I've talked to, I think, I'm thinking, I have a strong belief, I should say, that they have an idea of who they want a man in their life to be. I don't have a problem with it, but if it's not being said to me, I mean, I don't know any how to even go about it, because you're not being, I don't want to say you're not being honest with me, but you're also not telling me what it is that you're actually wanting. I tell people all the time what I am, and just sometimes I feel like people don't listen to what I'm saying. And when I see that, I automatically start thinking that they may be my opponent, and not really go along with what we as a collective can be. Like, I'm strong with, we have to be a we. If there's no we in the relationship, then there could never be an us. Um, that's just my strong belief in when it comes to dealing with people. And anybody who knows me and has conversations with me, that's known me for a while, I say the same thing all the time. I am consistent with what I believe, because I absolutely believe it. And I believe that you have to have a partnership. It has to work on those levels, on whatever level you want to be on. It has to. If it doesn't, you're going to have problems over and over. They're going to keep coming around, and you may stay with the person because you love the person. Um, you don't want to, some people, they just don't want to be alone. I'm alone all the time. It bothers me sometimes, but when I look at the overall aspect of it, I don't want to be in a relationship where I have an op, if you will, that's going to be around me. That's, no matter what I try to do, they're going to have some kind of opposition with what I'm doing, and not being a helpmate like Eve was created to be for Adam. So let's hit the biblical point on that. That's what she was created for, to be an a helpmate to Adam. It doesn't mean slave. It doesn't mean that no matter what that man says, you do exactly what he says. I give people advice. I don't expect people to do exactly what I'm saying. I just try to get them to think, and then they can make their own mind up of what they want to do. It's not up to me to live your life for you. But if you're going to talk to me about it, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna give you my opinion about it. Um, and I'll try my best to help people out as best as I can. Hopefully, they're getting what I'm saying, and if they don't, then maybe they'll circle the wagons, if you will, and whatever I've said to them before, whatever conversation I had with them, they will remember it, and then they'll utilize some of the teachings and some of the things that I've told them. Um, you know, so you have to make sure that that person is going along with the we. That's just my opinion. You have to have you have to have both of you. It has to be both. It cannot be she's here, he's here, or vice versa. It can't be that way. It's never going to work that way. Like never. The divorce rate, I don't know what the percentages are when it comes to married couples, but it's pretty high. And I'm a strong believer. It's not just the financial parts of it. It's the conversation, the conversations that needed to take place in the beginning to have a clear cut plan of where you want to go with this relationship has not been had, and they haven't put it to put it to work. They haven't applied it to their relationship. It's never going to be, we have this plan, we had this talk, we know what we got to do. You also have to implement it. Like I have a couple friends that, they date women that has kids already. And I gave some advice, and I told him this. I says, look, I don't I've never dated anybody that has kids to that degree. I haven't. But I can tell you this. I would sit down every week and have these conversations, especially if the relationship gets to be that close. I would have these conversations with um, your significant other, with the mom and the children. Whether they're older kids or little kids, you got to get to know them. They have to be comfortable with you. They have to trust you. Um, that's where trust comes in. But if you're consistent with it and they know what to expect from you, then you'll have a better off, relationship. You'll be able to implement some of the things within that dynamic of you being a man coming into a lady that's a single mom. You have to have those conversations. Um, what else? So I just had a conversation, and this happens to me sometimes. It's kind of funny to me. You know, I have people ask me like, "Q, why are you single?" And I joke and I always say, "Because don't nobody like me like that." You know, it's a joke, but sometimes I get to the point where I actually believe it. That don't nobody really like me like that, and it's okay. I'm not sitting here all sad and all broken up if people don't. It's not a big deal. I have thick skin. I've been born with it, and I don't know. It just never phases me like that. Um, I guess through experience, those kind of things doesn't bother me. Um, but what the thing that does bother me is when people develop certain feelings and they don't share it, or they think something and it's something wrong and they still don't share it with me. You have to talk to me. If you don't talk to me, I won't know. And if I don't know, I'll just keep going about life how I need to go about life. Because at this point, I done gotten used to being by myself. I'm not telling nobody that they have to bend over backwards for me because I'm not that type of person. But this goes with anybody. So when I talk about myself, it's just I'm not the only one that experiences this. So when I'm talking about myself, I'm also of the understanding that other people have gone through this and they feel the same way. Um, not I don't know what the percentages are. I don't even deal in percentages and things like that. Like, I never say most, because most implies that I did some kind of research to come up with a certain percentage to be able to justify me saying most. So I always say some. Some people are going to agree. Some people are not going to agree. You know, I don't have a problem with that. People don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but arguing with me is never going to go anywhere with me, because if I'm steadfast and I'm strong-willed when it comes to what I've witnessed and what I've experienced and what I've been through, or whatever the case may be, or what I absolutely believe, um, I believe you have to have the conversation. You have to plan from day one. Not necessarily day one, like when you meet them. It's just when you get to that point in the relationship within the dating, you have to have that kind of conversation. You know, that's just what I believe. And I can say to the people out here, good luck. And I wish you the best. And with that being said, I'll be signing off now. And you guys be well out there.